Hello friends, today we are talking about lighting and I want to take you guys through my 2023 lighting kit. I want to kind of show you guys why I purchased these items and also encourage you if you're looking to build out your own light kit. I hope that the information in this video would be helpful and it would encourage you that you don't need to buy the latest and greatest or the most expensive items to get really good looking images. I'm of course making this video to show you guys the lights that I purchased, but more importantly than that, I want to talk you guys through kind of why I purchased these lights and kind of what went into the decision-making process for me as someone who is a full-time freelancer, why I decided to go with these lights. I also hope that this would help you build your own lighting kit. I have a lot of friends who work for nonprofits and churches and businesses that are doing video in-house, and a lot of times they're needing to purchase all the gear that they need to pull off productions on a regular basis. So they need gear that's going to work, that is, consistently going to deliver great results. They don't always have budget for rentals, and most importantly, they're needing to save as much money as possible. So how do I get great looking images and great lighting without spending a ton of money? When it comes to the type of projects that I'm shooting, I'm primarily shooting doc style projects for nonprofits as well as churches. I'm also doing some work with musicians and bands, anywhere from full-blown music videos to simple teasers for songs. And I'm also doing a little bit of corporate work here and there. So kind of a wide range of needs, but I think this kit accomplishes a lot of what I need it to. I do want to preface this video saying that I did slowly build this kit out over time. Over the years, I've gotten the chance to use a lot of different types of lighting gear, and I've really just been trying to figure out what works great for me and my workflow. Please know that I did not buy these in one day. This was kind of a slow build over time. I've sold some things, bought new things, and finally have a kit that I feel proud of and that I want to share with you guys in hopes that it would be encouraging. I also think it's important to mention in YouTube videos that none of what you're going to see today is sponsored. None of these companies have contacted me or worked with me. This is just gear that I have found that I really like for my budget, and I want to share it with you. Okay, so without talking a ton more, we're just going to get into the lights. I'm going to try and run through these quick, just kind of talk about pros and cons and why I purchased them. If you have questions, leave them below. This won't be a full review of each light. The first light we're going to talk about is the Nanlite FS300. This is a 300 watt daylight balance light that is plenty bright for most things that I'm shooting. Some pros include there not being a power control box, so you just have one power cord that you plug into the back of the light and then you plug it into an outlet and you are good to go. There's Bluetooth, so this light can be controlled remotely via the Nanlink app from my phone. The reflector dish is a Bowens mount, and the kind of main feature of this light is it's supposed to feature less hot spots than other COB lights. So I think the way that the LEDs are spaced, it does provide a little bit of a softer light when just using the reflector dish and not so much of a hot spot. This light new is just over $300. You can find it used for just over $200, and that's an incredible price considering comparable lights like the Aputure 300D Mark II is a lot closer to $1,000. And so I think this is an incredible value and one of the main reasons why I purchased this light. The only con that YouTube seems to talk about with this light is that it could be considered quite loud. There's an internal fan that spins, and some people have claimed that this is too loud for the particular environments that they shoot in. I have not seen this as an issue. I don't really notice the light being that loud. I never have it super close to a microphone or my subject anyway, but do your own research. If that feels like something that would be a con to you, consider that. Next light is the Nanlite FS60B. This is a super small and compact 60 watt light that is bicolor. I bought this to replace the Godox SL60W that I used for several years. I love 60 watt lights. They're really small, they're really compact, and they do pack a lot of punch for a lot of simple videos. It's actually what's lighting me in this video right now. I actually use this for a lot of my YouTube videos, and I simply just bounce it off the wall with no reflector dish. Again, this light features no power box, just a simple power cord. It is Bluetooth compatible, and it actually has a smaller reflector dish than a typical Bowens mount, but they do provide a Bowens mount adapter, so you can still use this light with softboxes or any other Bowens mount modifiers. Next up, we have the Falconize RX18 TD. This is an incredibly versatile light. It's a flexible matte that is also bicolor. So this can be folded. You can use it with the softbox. You can use it with the grid. You can put it in really tight spaces. And I have found so many uses for this light. It does have a power control box. It's a little bit cumbersome and it cannot be controlled via your phone. And price-wise, this is probably one of the most affordable kind of flexible matte style lights. The recent ones that Amaran came out with are quite a bit more expensive for a really similar light. Next up, we have the Nanlite Pavotube 2 15Cs. I own 2 of these 2-foot tube lights, and they do feature full RGB as well as bicolor, and they are controllable via the app. I recently upgraded to these after using the Quasar T8 tubes for a few years. The primary reason is these do offer me some battery life, so I can use them without a power cable, which has been super helpful on a few shoots just to add a little bit of light here and there where there is no outlet. And in addition, they are controllable via the Nanlink app. So on shoots where I'm working as a one-man band, this comes in handy because I can adjust these lights on the fly with the app. For a while, I was interested in the Amaran T2Cs. They're really similar tube lights from Amaran, but I have just seen mixed reviews about the durability, and Pavotubes has kind of been a staple for years. And so when they introduced these new models with the updated Bluetooth connectivity and cheaper than the 15X and 30X models, I was really intrigued. The final light in this kit is the Aputure MC. This is a small pocket-sized bicolor and RGB light. It is app compatible with Sidus Link, does feature battery power, and it is magnetic. When it comes to modifiers, I just wanted to quickly run through what I'm using. So the first one is the projection attachment from Nanlite. This is the 36-degree model for Bowens mount lights, and the 36 degrees is great for a lot of the scenarios that I'm shooting in that's indoor. This gives me an option to add hard light to any of my shots. I primarily purchased this for use with my FS300, but a pro that I have found is that it does work with the FS60B with the Bowens mount attachment, and you do have to finesse the focus a little bit, but it is definitely usable with this light. I do have a 38-inch deep parabolic softbox from a company called Glow. This is a quick setup softbox, so it pops open really quick and does include a grid if needed. I don't use it that often, but it is handy on some shoots where I'm needing a softbox. The most used piece of kit in my modifiers is my 5-in-1 reflectors. I own a small circular one as well as a larger oval-shaped one, and these are super versatile for diffusing light, bouncing light, using as negative fill. I use these all the time and they pack up really, really small. I do have one large sheet of bleached muslin. It is 8 foot by 8 foot, and I use this to create really large soft sources using only one stand. When it comes to negative fill, I recently added these blackout curtains to my setup. I previously have used moving blankets from Harbor Freight, which were a great budget option, but I have loved these curtains because they're a lot more lightweight, they're larger, they can be folded, and they can also be hung up on stands without clamps. So I will leave a link below to these along with all the other lights and modifiers if you guys are interested in checking those out. When it comes to C-stands, I do own 2 of the Flashpoint C-stands from Autorama. These are a great budget option that have lasted really well for me over the last few years. I also own 4 light stands from Neewer. These are great lightweight stands that have held up over time, and I've actually turned them into C-stand like stands using the extra grip heads from the Flashpoint stands and 1/2-inch EMT conduit from Home Depot. So these have turned these into kind of versatile stands for me where I can hang diffusion or negative fill or boom out a 2-foot tube light without having to haul around a bunch of C-stands. I did want to briefly touch on bags because these have been incredibly helpful for transporting my lights to and from different shoots. And so the first one is this police bag from Amazon. I got this for my Nanlite FS300 as well as the FS60B. And the awesome part about it is both of these lights and the reflector dishes can pack up into this bag along with the power cords, gels, and the Bowens mount adapter. And so I love just being able to pack all this into one kit and throw it in my car, and it's super small. I had an extra bag lying around from a tripod, and I used this for all my diffusion. So I put the bleached muslin along with some shower curtains and the negative fill curtains that I talked about earlier into this bag. It all packs up into a really small kit, which is super helpful on set. A more recent addition has been this bag for my light stands. And so this little bag actually holds all 4 of my light stands from Neewer with the conduit rods and grip heads, along with my boom stand for audio. And so this has been super helpful. Just being able to throw this in my car has saved a ton of time and space when I'm having to transport my stands around. I wanted to end this video just with some thoughts for you guys to consider. And so the first one is just the advancement of lighting technology. I think we've all seen this, but lighting technology is growing rapidly. There's always new lights on the market, new features, lower prices, more output. And I think it can be really easy to get sucked into wanting the newest and the latest and greatest thing. And I just kind of wanted to speak to that you really just need to invest in what you need, or even slightly ahead of what you need that you can grow into, but kind of be prepared to upgrade over time, because incredible lights are going to continue to come out. These companies are going to continue to compete with one another and kind of one up them. And so I would just say, like, be patient and try and figure out just what are you actually needing for most jobs, and make the investment in that gear rather than feeling like you have to have the latest and greatest gear from whatever company you love. I also want to speak to the argument that real filmmakers shouldn't invest in lighting gear. I've seen this on Reddit as well as comment sections where when people are looking for advice about gear, a lot of times people will bring up, if you really want to be a real cinematographer, really work in video production, you shouldn't invest in lights. Just get a camera, maybe lenses, but you should just rent everything else out because, the bigger sets that you work on, your budget gear is not going to fit. And I just want to speak to that because I am someone who is making a full-time living as a filmmaker. I have been for the last 3 years, and my family is currently living off of just my single income. And I'm not necessarily trying to be the next, commercial director or work on big sets or work on movies. I think I'm trying to be patient with what projects I'm getting and just try and be diligent with those and do a really good job and kind of see, what I like. And I don't necessarily have a career path laid out. There are so many different paths for people who are making videos these days. There are people making a living off YouTube, also working for nonprofits or churches or businesses where they're needing to do video in-house and need solutions that deliver good results on a budget. And so that kind of encapsulates just even why I'm making this video. I hope that it would encourage you if you've kind of been on the fence about, what you want to invest in. Should I buy this? Should I buy that? I hope that this video would be helpful to you. Please remember that you do not need these exact lights to make great videos. Definitely take an inventory of just the projects that you're doing, the gear that would make doing those projects easier. I'm sure I won't stick with these lights forever, and I would hope to make videos as I upgrade and change things out. And I think that's super important to remember, that these investments can change. You can sell gear, you can get new stuff, and you don't need to feel like you need to purchase something that's going to last, 5, 10, 15 years just with the rate that technology is advancing. When it comes to the items that I mentioned today, I do know that these are not the cheapest items on the market. I have started with the cheapest stuff on the market and have slowly upgraded over time as I've learned what I need and what I like. And I would love to do a video later on about truly budget options for lighting. I think there's a ton of great videos already out there on YouTube, but I will make one down the road just showing you guys some practical solutions for getting good lighting on a budget. I would love to hear down in the comments if this video was helpful to you. Let me know what lights you use and what you have chosen to invest in based on the work that you're doing, and things that you have also purchased that make your life easier as a filmmaker. I think having these conversations is super helpful, and I'm always pulling information from different people that I look up to and am inspired by. Thank you guys so much for watching and supporting me here on this channel, and until next time, peace.